Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. Today we will discuss about the 2+2 dialogue between India and US and a crucial pact signed between the two countries. India and the US today signed a crucial pact which will help India in the field of defense and security. The two countries signed Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement or BICA, which will give India access to accurate geospatial data from American satellites with military applications. The agreement has been signed at a time when India is facing military aggression from China on the Ladakh border. So how will this agreement and the growing military cooperation with the US help India in meeting the contemporary challenges? We will discuss this and related matters in the agenda today. We have with us retired diplomat Ambassador Deepak Vora and retired Brigadier Vinod Datta. But before we start our conversation, let us have a look at this small report.
The defense and security cooperation between India and the US continues to grow. A fresh example in this regard is the crucial Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement or BECA signed by the two countries today. The agreement, signed along with 4 other pacts, will give India access to accurate geospatial data with several military applications using the American satellites. The BSCA is a pact between the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency of the US Department of Defense and India's Defense Ministry. It entails sharing of military information, including maps, nautical and aeronautical charts, commercial and other unclassified imagery, geodetic, geophysical, and geomagnetic and gravity data. The agreement, signed at a time when India is locked in a military face-off with China, will allow US armed forces to provide advanced navigational aids and geospatial intelligence, which will improve India's military accuracy of automated hardware systems and weapons like cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and drones. The agreement was signed after the 2+2 ministerial dialogue between the two countries here. From the US side, it was attended by Secretary of State Michael Pompeo and Secretary of Defense Mark Esper, while Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar represented the Indian side. After the meeting, Pompeo said India and the US are taking steps to strengthen cooperation against all matters of threat, including those posed by China. He said US will stand with India in dealing with any threat and declared support to India's right to defend its sovereignty. Pompeo said the two countries need to cooperate to confront the Chinese Communist Party's threat to security and freedom and to promote peace and stability throughout the region. Esper emphasized on institutionalizing and regularizing cooperation between India and the US to meet the challenges of the day. Clearly, while the Indo-US relations have been growing closer over the last 2 decades, there seems to be a sense of urgency to scale up the cooperation in defense and security fields thanks to the growing aggressiveness and expansionism by China. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Ambassador Vora and Brigadier Datta. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So my first question is to Brigadier Datta, since it's mostly related to security. The 2+2 dialogue between India and US today and the crucial pact, BICA pact signed. How do you see that?
Good evening, Ajay. It's a very good initiative, this 2+2 initiative on part of India and US. And since the entire world is seeing a new world order with a redefined geostrategic equations and the kind of peace and stability which India and America are looking at Indo-Pacific region, I think this initiative is going to give good dividends, and it has brought the main crux of security and stability in Indian Ocean region, Indo-Pacific region, and it is going to be a clear-cut signal also to the abusive behavior of China and the kind of expansionist designs it is nursing and it is propagating and communicating to the world. And especially the two countries, their militaries, and they are both formidable military powers, and the kind of professional approach the Indian Army has, and with the cooperation of American Army, whether it is in terms of hardware, it is going to give good dividends. And the signing of BECA is going to be another good link or a punch in the Indian strategic military outlook as far as the world is concerned.
Okay, Ambassador Vora, I will ask you your initial views on the 2+2 dialogue that was held today.
Thank you, Mr. Kaul. Always a pleasure to learn from you and from the other distinguished panelists. I'm 12,000 kilometers away, and as you can see, in real time you're able to interact with me. That is civil technology. Military technology, which the BECA agreement is going to give, is the exact counterpart of this. In real time, we'll be able to see movements of elephants or ants on the border. Of course, we have the capability to respond, and that is significant. People are talking that this agreement means that India has fallen into the lap of the United States. Let me put it that the United States has also fallen into the lap of India. This is a partnership between equals, in the sense that the Indian Army is more than a match for any military in the world. The US has the world's most awesome technological capability, and when these two are combined, sir, it is more than a match for anybody in the world. Would you be able to give me just a couple of minutes so that I'm able to look at this in historical context? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, please.
You know, when we became independent in 1947, America's attention was not on Asia. It was focused on rebuilding Europe that had been devastated by the Second War and on containing the communist threat. So NATO was born in 1949. Now, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, America's attention was exclusively on eliminating the USSR. The opening up with China, jumping into bed with China, was also part of that Faustian bargain. And as far as India is concerned, we were seen as weak, pompous, arrogant, pro-Soviet, overpopulated, extremely poor, crisis-ridden. It just didn't happen. So 9/11 was a defining moment in America's view of Islam, and I may say in America's view of India. India's spectacular IT progress, and then our military resilience demonstrated in 1999. The US began to look at us differently, that perhaps we were a factor for stability in the arc of Islamic instability stretching from Algeria to Indonesia. So what we are seeing, sir, in India-US defense relations over the last 2 decades is a convergence of security perceptions and world vision, sir. There is very, very clear that an unprecedented defense relationship is emerging with incremental but rapid steps, sir. You know, in 2005, we had the civil nuclear agreement. 2010, we had the Defense, Trade and Technology Initiative. 2016, the United States declared India a major defense partner, putting us on par with Washington's closest allies. Of course, we don't go around declaring people to be major partners or any such. No formal declarations. Our actions speak louder than our words. Sir, one thing that is often missed, 2017, the US Congress passed an act, the National Defense Authorization Act, cementing India's major defense partner status as American law. So by an act of American Congress, now we are enshrined, so to speak, in the American system as a major defense partner. Then, of course, we had LEMOA and we had COMCASA, and today we have BECA. What this reflects is a level of comfort, a level of trust in each other, and a message to the world that these two countries coming together, along with Japan and Australia, the so-called Quad and Quad Plus, this is a reassurance that the common goods, the global commons, as we say, what we talk about, the common heritage of mankind, the South China Sea. These two powerful countries, India and the United States, will ensure that it is available to all those who wish to use it. That, I believe, is the most powerful signal that has gone out from New Delhi today to the rest of the world. Of course, our military is capable of operationalizing the real time information that they'll get. I believe today that there will be despair. There will be a lot of fear and frustration in at least two capitals. One is called Beijing and the other Islamabad, sir.
Right. So, I will come to Brigadier Datta. As you heard Ambassador Vora giving a detailed perspective, and he also mentioned about the growing Indo-US relations, particularly in the defense and security area. So, do you think this is being expedited because of China's growing aggressiveness and expansionism?
Ajayji, first of all, let me congratulate Ambassador Vora for giving such a lucid and comprehensive historical backdrop and so nicely packaged and concisely put across. And it is always a treat to listen to him. I agree with you that yes, the two democracies have come together, and as Ambassador Vora had already highlighted, and I also initially said in my talk, that it is basically the large professional combative armed forces which we have, the growing economy, and the abusive behavior of China. And not only towards India, because there have been punitive attacks, there have been cartographic assaults against so many countries. I mean, take it as South Korea or any other peripheral country which is there. So yes, these initiatives which have been started, it is going to strengthen the substantial progress of the two armies and the two countries. If you see that since 2007, America has backed say about 20 billion worth contracts by providing two very major helicopter deals, whether it is MH-60 Romeo or it is Apache attack Raptors, Predators. You saw General Qasim, how he was eliminated. So America has been giving some dreaded weapons
so since
the countries.
Brigadier Datta, since you are talking about the arms sales, I can also tell you that America was very upset when India zeroed it on Rafale in 2012.
Yeah. Not only Rafale, even S-400.
Yeah, S-400 was later, yeah, but I'm talking about earlier.
Yeah, even Rafale, they have not taken it very, and the annoyance was conveyed to the our government also.
Right.
But yes, these circumstances were such, and now the urgency has been redefined. So we had to bank upon a country who can give, and France that way has given very good and stable platforms to Indian Air Force, whether it is Misfire or it is Mirage 2000. So it was a good deal overall, and the economic resilience and the military and technology, the capabilities of the two countries, if they are combined, it is going to convert the region into a very formidable power, and it will be a great signal to China, because there are certain thinkers who are thinking that America is losing a battle against limiting China's role as a superior power. But yes, America has realized it, and now it has partnered with, like Quad is one such example, where four biggest democracies of the formidable democracies have come together, and they have posed a great resistance to Chinese designs. And China is really worried, and what Ambassador Vora had already said, that this 2+2 dialogue is going to give sleepless nights to most of the people in Beijing and Islamabad.
Right. So I'll ask Ambassador Vora about it since.
What the Brigadier has said, Mr. Call, is absolutely correct. He is right on. He's spot on there. You remember, sir, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had also said when he was talking about our successful space program that at one point of time the Americans refused to give us the critical technology. You know it better than I do, of the cryogenic engines.
Right.
We had to develop it ourselves, put us back by 20 years. But today, sir, the level of comfort, the level of trust between the two countries is so high that we are now part of American law. I mean, the Congress says that you can transfer technology to India license free, including certain dual use technologies. This is the significance, and I believe, sir, it can never be a patron-client relationship between the United States and India, as there is between China and Pakistan. One is a chamcha, other is the boss. As far as we are concerned, the maturity of the American system today recognizes that it is a partnership of equals. We bring a lot to the table, they bring a lot to the table, and together we can be a very powerful force for peace and stability in the world.
So,
sir.
Ambassador Vora,
particularly in the Indo-Pacific region.
So Ambassador Vora, may I ask you, so should we be thankful to China and its aggressiveness that this partnership between India and USG is being expedited? Because I know US has been talking for long for power balance in Asia and encouraging India to be a power in the region. But now I feel there's a kind of speed up in this process. So should we be thankful to China's aggressiveness?
Sir, you aggressiveness, it's belligerence, is their lies and deception. Sir, let me also tell you, since I'm very fond of history, about the origins of the Quad. It goes back to an act of God, the tsunami in 2004. We were the first to swing into action. We mobilized 32 ships and 5,500 troops. We gave help to Sri Lanka, to Indonesia, to Maldives, in Tamil Nadu, in Andaman and Nicobar. And then the others joined. The United States, Australia and Japan joined us. So it became a kind of informal quadrilateral group of powerful navies engaged in disaster relief. Now the heads of government, foreign affairs in all the four countries were practically in daily communication. So informally the idea of something more structured evolved. China, Australia quit because it was scared of. Let me complete, sir. It was scared of China. It quit.
I wanted to say that only. Yeah.
An act of what I was going to say, an act of God created the Quad. An act of a godless country has cemented Quad.
So since you talked
what
about,
you said is absolutely right.
Since you talked about Quad, so I may again point out that it remained a dead body till 2017, isn't it?
Absolutely. Australia came back realizing that China was kicking them in the teeth.
So again China.
So what we are seeing in the Indo-Pacific, Brigadier Saab, Mr. Kaul, is a partnership of the angry, a partnership of the aggrieved. And China is the common factor. We are all angry with China.
So I think Brigadier Datta also wants to say something on this.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the point which Ambassador Vora had said, you see, like what Winston Churchill had said, let no crisis go waste. You see, there is an opportunity in any kind of crisis. And as far as disaster relief is concerned, India plays a very major role. And from 2016, India has always given an impression, or it has followed a policy that India is going to be an aid giver and not an aid seeker. And we have a very large and a impressionable footprint in Asia, which is the epicenter of most of the disaster activities, and we have been contributing very meaningfully in the HADR operations. One more thing I want to say is, I want to quote from what Mr. Pompeo had said, that we see as two great democracies, two global powers, and two real good friends coming together. So these three words or these three sentences, they speak volumes about how India has moved in the diplomatic channels and the ladders which it has climbed, and the kind of status and state which it enjoys. So it is a creditable foreign policy, and I want to congratulate the diplomats and the people who are the practitioners of the foreign policy, that we have been able to change the entire view of the world. And most of the countries, barring Turkey and few one odd country, the entire world is more echeloned towards India, and we are being seen as a reasonable, formidable regional power.
Right. So as you mentioned, Pompeo today also said, in fact, he talked about Galwan clash and
Yeah, right.
the
If you take a look at the four big powers who have some kind of influence in our region,
Right.
the United States is certainly number one, spends more on defense than the next 20 countries combined. But if China has to be clobbered, sir, leaving out the United States, there are two countries that have the capability to do it, Russia and India. Russia, of course, at the moment is, so to speak, in some kind of Chinese camp. So that leaves us. Brigadier Saab talked about what Mike Pompeo said about two democracies. Well, that language I've been hearing for 70 years about shared values and so on. But now it is shared interests, sir. Let me put it to you very bluntly, sir. Power respects power. Power can contain power. And today, the combined power of the United States and India, on equal terms, sir, we have the expertise, excuse me, we have the experience, they have the technology, they have the equipment. When we come together, sir, no power on earth can stand before us, sir.
So I was mentioning about Pompeo's comments about Galwan clash, in which we lost 20 soldiers. So, but and he also slammed China for that and said we stand by India. So, but these are just symbolic gestures, or these mean something more?
There is always an external trigger for any very, very important action, and in this case, it is China. Sir, let me just remind our Chinese friends, I hope some of them are watching this program. 70 years ago, 75 years ago, a certain German fellow told his people that we will rule the world for 1,000 years, the Third Reich, he called it. Sir, within a few years, Germany was devastated. This man pulled out a gun, put it to his temple and pulled the trigger. I hope that Mr. Ping Pong, Xi Jinping, gets a lesson from this, that this kind of dream of world domination is not going to happen, sir.
Okay, Brigadier Datta, I'll ask you the same question as about Pompeo saying about Galwan clash and we stand with India. Is it symbolic, or do they really mean something? Because why I'm asking is that if US, it seems to me, is more concerned about South China Sea and Indo-Pacific. So there is a lot of talk about that, lot of armed maneuvers also in that region. So how do you see that?
You see, the remarks of Mr. Pompeo, they have a lot of weightage, and America has been following this standoff. They have been following all the actions which are being taken by Indian government, and the kind of deployment which we have done. So this statement is a very, very balanced and encouraging statement as far as Indian government is concerned. And the American administration is keeping a vigil, and they are expressing their views in favor of India. And I'm sure China is also, they are drawing deductions from these statements. And that is
China is watching. Yeah, China is watching closely.
Yeah, China is watching. So all these statements, China knows that yes, they can be converted into actions if China tries any other misadventure. And that is one of the reasons, if you see the Kailash Ridge operation or the Blacktop operation, China has totally gone defensive after that, because they never expected, they were totally taken by surprise. And now it is a face saving for this country, who claims to be a superpower in the region, that वो हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कि ना वो निगल सकते हैं ना उगल सकते हैं.
Right. So, Ambassador Vora, now I'll come to another question related to, since many people say that this 2+2 and close cooperation is taking place at a time when US is about to have elections, and you never know. the regime may change. So if the regime changes, will the US maintain the same tempo or there will be some change? Since you are there already in US.
Absolutely. That's a very interesting question, Mr. Kaul. I congratulate you on your perceptiveness, as always. In India, people talk about a pro-China lobby or a pro-peace lobby, or there are arms dealers, all kinds of people. In the United States, there is only one lobby. It is a pro-America lobby. And that lobby, by extension, is anti-China. Joe Biden has come out saying that I'm going to be very tough on China. Trump, we know what he's doing. The election this time in the United States will be decided on something Chinese, the virus. Trump says the virus came and I'm going to hit the Chinese as hard as I can. The opposition says, but you haven't managed the virus well. People are not talking about employment. People are not talking about racism. People are not talking about religion. What they're talking about today is the Chinese virus. This election is going to be decided on the virus. President Trump has been open to the extent of saying we did not know how to handle it, but the vaccine is going to come in a little while. The media may be, the media may be against him. Whether he wins or loses, it's immaterial. The real loser of this election, I'm sorry.
No.
The real loser will be China.
So either government, if there is even change that China is going to face music, do you agree with Ambassador Vora?
China has lost it already, sir. There is no question. China is out of the game altogether.
But China is also expanding and China is still aggressive and belligerent as you mentioned.
Give it some time, it will die. It's diseased, it's sick. So many countries are pulling out. Papua New Guinea is not paying money, etc. Sri Lanka has problems. So many countries, they are going to pull out, sir.
Okay, Brigadier Datta, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, well, I agree with you that yes, China is going to grow, say about by 2% in 2020, and where most of the economies are going to contract. And by say about 2030, India will be say about 40% of China's economy. But yes, what Ambassador Vora had already said, that the walls have started crumbling. The plasters are now scabbing, and slowly it is going to have a ripple effect on the China's economy, because most of his supply chains, most of his goods are they are rotting and rusting on the seaports. People are not accepting the consignments. So it is going to have a beating on the supply chain links, and ultimately, as you must have seen, that Japan has already given a 2.2 billion package to their industrial houses that you uproot from China and relocate anywhere in world. And India is wooing those industries. So people are moving out. And
those things are at very initial nascent stage, but China is already ahead. I mean, it's much ahead, isn't it?
No.
So for 30 years, we have been flirting with China.
Right.
Now the divorce will not come in 30 days, it will take some time. But the process, as Brigadier Saab said, has started. It's very clear to everybody except those jokers in Beijing who wear blinkers over their eyes. They have to understand, sir, I'm a student of world history. Never before in human history has one man, Mr. Ping Pong, been able to offend the rest of the world so quickly and so decisively, sir.
Okay, we are running out of time. One brief comment from Brigadier Datta. I guess you want to say something.
You see, as per the IMF report, the latest report, there was a very encouraging statement for India. They said, yes, India is going to go down by 10%, but it is by 2021, it is going to bounce back by 9%. So that is a very encouraging statement by IMF for India. And we have started seeing that the economy has, bounced back. And since we are also agro-based economy, we are going to be really spearheading the economic growth. So there is no, question of any worry for India. Yes, for China it is going to be, a big loss, because when two titans are clashing, the sparks are going to be seen far and wide.
Right. So we hope that China learns its lessons and learns lessons from history, as Ambassador Vora said. But we have run out of time. Sorry for that. But thank you for participating in this debate, both of you.
Thank you as always, Mr. Kaul.
This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.